Hi everyone. As we're trapped at home with our COVID-19, we're probably not singing or speaking as much as we typically would, or we're using our voices differently. And so it's important when our voices are not used to the rest that we're giving, and then we want to go back to typical habits like socializing, talking a lot, singing, our muscles are weaker, just in the same way that we don't work out for a while and we feel that differently when we start working out. Our voices are the same way. Our vocal folds are muscles. They're very, very little muscles. And so it's important for us to do a daily exercise to keep some strength in those vocal folds so that when we're all ready to get back out to doing our regular lives, our voices are strong enough to do that and to do that without injury. So here's a quick little warm up that we can do, and you can do this daily. It shouldn't take that long to keep your voice in a healthy shape for all of the activities that we want to do. Now this warm-up is implementing semi-occluded vocal tract exercises in a progression of more occluded to less occluded. So least speech-like or singing-like to most speech-like or singing-like. The basics of this are you just choose a simple or familiar song that covers most of your mid-range and your head range. So like My Country 'Tis of Thee, Happy Birthday, You Are My Sunshine, and then pick a comfortable key to sing that in. Sing it through 2 times for each exercise that we're going to go through. You can raise the pitch the second time if you want to do that, if you want to stretch your range just a little bit. So again, we're moving from most occluded to which is least like speech, to the least occluded, which is most like speech or singing. The exercises will train the body to maintain a tension-free vocal fold motion, which is ultimately what we want so that we avoid injury, especially for those of us that are teachers. We talk a lot during the day. When we go back to our normal jobs, we're going to be talking all day long, but our voices won't be used to that if we're staying at home right now. Same thing with those of us as singers. When we get back to those rehearsals, we're going to be very excited to sing, but we're going to be using our voices in a way that we haven't used them in a very long time. So these are good exercises for us to keep our voice in shape so we don't injure those muscles when we come back to our normal lives. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start out with a small straw, just regular old straw, and we're going to do lax vox. So you're going to put this in the water, no more than an inch. Again, we want to keep that inch because it creates more pressure if we don't. Hold the straw so we're not creating tension in our lips or jaw, and go through your exercise. Couple things to note when you're doing that. Make sure you're maintaining good body alignment because voicing starts on the breath, whether it's for speech or singing. And also make sure that you're holding the thing like we said and having continuous vocal sound. We don't want to chop the sound with by slamming our vocal folds together, for instance. We want it to be one continuous sound. So you would do that 2 times. Imagine that I finished the song. And then you would switch to a larger straw, more like a smoothie straw. So you can see how this one is bigger, not necessarily. The first one actually fits inside the second one. So the diameter of the straw is much larger. And you would do the same thing. Put the straw an inch in the water. And you hold it, continuous sound, good body alignment. And you would do that 2 times. Again, good body alignment, continuous sound. Then you would move back to your small barrel straw, your small diameter straw, but no water this time. And you just phonate into the straw. Sometimes we talk about humming into the straw, but humming actually happens through your nose and not through your mouth, and we want this sound to come through the straw. So try this with me. Hmm. If you hum and you close your nose, the sound stops because the sound is actually coming through your nose. So we don't want that to happen. So instead, think about saying ooh into your straw. Okay, so now we're gonna do that, do our song again, but through our little straw. Again, continuous sound, good body alignment. You'll notice as you do this, sometimes the sound will resonate through the bones in your head. And so it feels like your whole head is vibrating. So you're actually activating some of those resonators for singing. And also for those of us, when we talk about speech and we talk about focus and placement, moving our sound up and off of our vocal folds, this helps with that too, because you kind of feel all of that vibration in your face. So you would do that 2 times with the little straw, and then move to the big straw and do the same thing. Imagine I finished the whole song. So again, you're noticing as you progress through these activities, you feel less and less resistance because there's not as much occlusion in the straw. So it's a bigger, wider straw. You're not occluding as much of the vocal tract on the opposite side above the vocal folds. So you would do the large barrel straw 2 times. The next thing in our progression is using our labiodental fricative. So we're going to use our V sound. You can also use a TH sound. It works the same way. Labiodental talks about the teeth on the lip. And a fricative is a continuous sound with restricted airflow. So a teeth plus lip fricative, or a TH sound is a tongue plus teeth fricative, and that works too. So you would do your song with a V sound. It takes a lot more airflow because there's less restriction in the system. Again, semi-occluded, but this is less occluded than any of the activities that we've done before because we're moving through a more speech-like progression, okay? You can do the same thing with a TH, and you can even alternate. It's harder to sustain that continuous airflow with the TH, but it's a good exercise, and as I'm watching myself do this, I see that it's easy to create tension in my face when I'm doing that. So try and watch yourself and try not to do that. Or maybe don't watch yourself because maybe you might laugh and that's why I'm smiling. Who knows? So you would do that 2 times with either a V or a TH, or maybe one of each. And you would move on to a lip trill, doing the same thing. And you would do that 2 times. You could do that with a lip trill, or you could do it with a tongue trill. Remember, these exercises are about continuous airflow and they're about releasing tension in the mechanism. So it's not about looking or feeling cute or pretty. It's about the functionality of it. So make sure you have big floppy lips and big floppy cheeks so that there's no tension in the system and you're getting the maximum benefit from the exercise. After you do your lip trill, you would go to one of your closed vowels. So an oo or an e. I actually recommend doing it on each vowel, especially if you're a singer, because you're opening those different resonators. So the E vowel works in the nasal or the giggle resonator. E, E, helps us in the resonate here in the space in our frontal sinuses. So it gives us more of a height resonator. So it would be more like this. Ooh, 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 ooh. So again, making sure that it's easy when we sing because we want to create these sounds. And E is a very lip retracted. We pull our lips back to make that sound. E, but that puts a lot of tension in the system. So be sure that you're relaxing your face and you're just making that sound minimally with your tongue and your lips. E versus E, right? There's a lot of tension in that second sound, and we don't want that. That defeats the purpose of the semi-occluded exercise. And after that, we should be ready to sing. Woohoo! 10 minutes of warm-up or talk throughout the day. 10 minutes of warm-up. But what if you don't feel ready? You can do cup phonation to kind of work yourself the rest of the way. Cup phonation isn't, it's kind of in the middle of the exercises as far as semi-occluded vocal tract. It's kind of a mid-range occlusion level. But what you do is you take an 8-ounce cup, you poke a hole in the bottom, pencil-sized hole, and you cover your lips, but not your nose. And you can do the same thing. Sing through twice with the cup. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. It works because this helps as a precursor to speech or singing because you can actually sing into the cup with now starting to include some of those consonant and vowel combinations. So you can sing through twice in the cup and then start alternating to get your voice really ready for speech and carry over that semi-occluded muscle tension-free sound into your actual speech sound. So for instance, you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. And then alternate one in the cup, 2 phrases out of the cup, and so on until you feel ready your voice feels ready to have that muscle tension-free sound. And that's a quick warm-up that we can do to keep our voices healthy when we're ready to get back to our normal lives of speaking and singing. So practice at home so that we don't injure ourselves.